Hi guys, it's Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner, and today I'm going to be making some cards using the Boo Dance Party collection from Spellbinders. I mean, come on, look at these little guys. I love all of the little dancing characters that Spellbinders has been coming out with for a while, and so I could not resist when they said, do you want to play with these? So yes, of course I do. I have already cut out a bunch of the sets. Now this set here is for the Dancin Mummy. We've got the body, and I've already gone over all of these in my release video. That was a couple of weeks ago, I think. I think it was on the 14th. And because I hurt myself, I haven't done as much as I had planned on doing. My arm is still healing for anybody who's interested in that. So I'm hopefully going to be able to get back on track and get a bunch of new videos and cards done for you guys really soon. So we've got the body of the mummy here. We've got his head wrappings here. This is for his body, his legs, some extra bandages, and of course some other extra bandages. So that all put together makes this adorable little mummy. And this one, only thing I did different when you're putting together these, and I'll show you that in a bit, is you'll want to use a circle foam dot to go in the hole here on his legs. You'll want to use a double layer of this die cut, and you'll basically put the foam dot there, and it adheres to the back of your card. But what I decided to do for a couple of these is just basically add a circle on the back of it where it's kind of hidden, but it's all ready to go, and all I need to do is just adhere this to the front of my card and it's all ready to go. So I think that is super cute. I did go ahead and make one of these during my live stream this week. I was playing with the Distress Mica spray stains from Holtz. The new set has just come out, super awesome, and I wanted to do, because I haven't done it in about a year, this technique, making a really creepy moon, and I absolutely love the way that the card turned out. And my little guy does have his legs do move, so he can just dance to, I don't know, Monster Mash or something. Anyway, I think that is super cute. So what I'm going to do now, since I've got all the stuff already cut out, I've got my Dancin Mummy, I've got my Dancin Ghost, I've even got some of the Haunted House, because there's this Haunted House etched die as well in that collection, plus a bunch of the extras, like there's some bats that are in this one, there's some ghosts that are in this one, and the Dancin Ghost also has some little candy pieces. So I cut out extras because I figure I'm going to want to use more than just a couple. But what I'm going to do now is just put these guys to the side, and I'm going to do a little bit of foiling. You guys know I love my foil, and the reason I'm doing that is also in this collection is this hot foil plate. This one is called, and I don't want to get the name wrong, this one is called Hypnotic Background. And I started thinking, you know, I did get some hot foil last year. I think it was on clearance, but it was the Halloween colors. So that's what I'm going to play with today. I've got the tangerine orange, and I've got some black. I'm thinking black will go good on any color, and you could use this kind of imagery, I think, for pretty much any kind of card. But I think I want to use, to go along with my orange, I'm going to put it on some purple cardstock. So I've got my hot foil platform over here heating up, and now I just need to cut some foil so I can make some backgrounds. So I've got some pieces of foil cut out, and I'm going to go ahead and start with, this is one of the black. See how that turns out. I'm going to just lay that down shiny side down or colored side down, and then put my cardstock on top. And since this plate basically is as big as my cardstock or a little bit bigger, it should be perfect for this. I'm going to go ahead and put my shim and Glimmer spacer pad down and hit the timer button. Okay, now I'm going to slide that through, or crank that through rather, my Platinum 6. And let's take a look and see how it looks with that cool background. This is the first time I've run this through, by the way. I have not tried this one out, but when I saw that design, I thought that would be really, really cool. So we've got purple with black. Ooh. And if you catch the light just right, you do see that shine. So I think that looks pretty cool. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with some other colors. Here's another thing though. This is going to be really cool on any other color too, because you'll be able to use the waist and you'll have black with a lighter color or whatever other color for all of those dots. I think that is going to be super cool. And here's the thing, when you look at this, it doesn't look like it's all that, but then you put your character in the center, and that, I think that is awesome. So I am going to clear this stuff out of the way so that I can start putting together these cards. Okay, I lied. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to use one of the circle shapes. I don't recall what the name of the hot foil plate is, but I will let you guys know down in the description. And I'm going to center the center of my circle on there. And luckily I can actually see through it, so I can see that it is okay, perfect. And now I'm going to put my cardstock on top of it. And we're going to do that one. This does need to, I let it cool a little bit too much, but this does need a little bit of time to get nice and hot. And then I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine. And we'll get a really nice circle shape in the center. So let me put that off to the side, and I'm going to go ahead and start trimming down some of my panels. I'm taking one of the dies that are in one of the fluted frame set. This one is for a rectangle, and I'm just going to use that to be my cutting. I'm also going to be using the new platform system from Spellbinders. Now the purpose of this is so that you can be able to use the 3D embossing folders, which we're not using today, but you are able to use the same system to be able to do all of your die cutting as well. The only difference between this and your regular one, well, the main difference is this piece. You've got they've split the regular platform into two pieces so that you can take one off to give that little additional amount of space that's needed for doing your 3D embossing folders. So you use platform A on the platform base, which is A, platform top, which is B. I'm going to use my magic mat like I always do, put my cardstock in there, and then use cutting plate C. They've got everything labeled nicely for you. And I will just run that through my die cutting machine. And now I've got a perfect background for my card. While I was doing that, my platform is already ready to go, nice and hot. So now I can do that bit of foiling I was talking about. So let me go ahead and take it out of the base for my foil system, and we'll run that through. And let's see how this one turns out. I do like that circle, so I think this is going to turn out pretty cool. Okay, so here is our cardstock. Looks like I didn't get the cardstock in the center, but it does look like I got that that ring where I want it. And that looks pretty cool. I didn't line it up perfectly, but I think that that is close enough, and I think that's going to make for a pretty interesting background. Let me go ahead and start doing some more cutting on my panels, and then we can put some cards together. Okay, to start off with, I'm going to assemble the legs, because that's the one part on the little ghosty. I am doing the Dancin Ghost at this point, where you do need to kind of double it up. The reason for that is because we want the legs to have, we want them to be able to swing, so they do need a little bit of weight there. So I'm just adding some adhesive on there, and I'm putting the little black one on top. Now you could do whatever color you want to be under his little outfit, whatever color pants you want. Also cuts out some little pieces so that it can be like stripes. This time I just decided I'm going to just leave them fully black on there. And then I'm going to take one of my foam dots. Okay, because these are some foam circles, the foam dots will fit right in that little circle on the legs die. So I'm going to take that and then position it kind of behind my ghost where I want his legs to fall. And I think that'll be pretty good. And I'm just going to go ahead and adhere this little dot to the back of my little ghost. Right about there. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab out my hole punch. I have got a circle punch here, and I'm just going to take a scrap of some white cardstock. Just take a scrap of white cardstock, punch out a hole so that I can adhere it to the back, and that way my ghost is going to be pretty much all ready to go, and I can just put him wherever I want him once I get it all done. I am going to put the bottom of my circle, because it is a bit bigger than that, down near where that foam is, and then I'm going to add a couple more pieces, or add some more foam above it, so that it's all, basically it's going to all be nice and flat. So now I've got a couple of small pieces of foam, and I want to make sure, and you can look at this, this is thin cardstock, so you can pull it back. You want to make sure that you do not touch where the top part of that, excuse me, the top part of your legs are, because if you do, it's not going to swing. So I'm going to put it up a little bit higher, right there, on that side, and I may just leave it for now. I can also add some, I'm also going to be adding some more foam to the top part of my little ghost once I get his eyes done and once I get everything else in place. For his eyes, I'm going to just do kind of old school Charlie Brown, just put some black pieces of cardstock back there. And just going to adhere that down with some art glitter glue. I'm only going like this because this is a long strip of scrap. Might as well use up the scrap, right? And once those are in place, I can go ahead and trim off the excess. That is so cute. This little triangle piece had me a little bit stumped to begin with, but this is actually his other arm, because he's got one arm there, so now I can have a second arm coming out of the back. So let me go ahead and adhere that one down. And our ghost is pretty much done. All we've got left is to do a little bit of decorating, which means we can give him a little Halloween candy bucket. We've also got this other die from the set, cuts out a piece that you would use for the handle. So here's our little handle, plus the words, "Hey Boo," so we've got our sentiment there too. I think for this first one, I want to use my little sparkly bucket. And I think I also want to put some black behind the eyes and the mouth as well on that one. So I think that'll make it pop a little bit more. So let me cut another piece of black cardstock down. Okay, that one is going to work perfect. I'll just add that on with some art glitter glue. I'm also not going to be cutting around, gluing down this last part up at the top. There is a slit there, and that slit is there so that you can add some candy and stuff to the bucket. So it'll be basically popping out from the top. Okay, that is super cute. Now I'll just add his little handle. And then I can put it on his arm. Oh, that'll be cool. This also opens up a little bit so you can slide that right on there. So I'll put it right about there, and since it's in place, just need to put a little bit of glue underneath it to hold it in place. And I do have some orange candies here that I can either put somewhere else on the card, or I could put in the bucket, but I'm thinking I don't want to put it in the bucket because my little bucket is that orange sparkly as well, so you won't really see them. But I did cut out extras. And you can cut these out of whatever colors that you want. This time around I just did red and orange. Okay, let's slide a piece of candy in there if I can do it. Probably should have done this before I glued my little bucket down. Okay, that one at least is sticking out of it. And let's see, I got a sparkly red. Let me go ahead and do that. Actually, what I think will work better, I'm going to cut this one in half. And that way I can put two of them where it's just got the top part hanging out. Because it's going to be hard to get the rest of my candy down in there. Okay, there's one. And there's another. So it does kind of look like his little bucket is overflowing, which is perfect. Okay, now I can go ahead and figure out, I think what I want to do. I think it'll be perfect on that one. That's the purple with the black. That would look great. The purple with the orange would look great. I think the green with the orange actually pops a little bit more for him. I mean, it is a different color than anything else that's on the card, but I think that that is going to work. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add some foam dots to the back of my little ghosty here, so that it'll all be popped up nicely on the card. Okay, and I think I do need a little bit on this side too. Okay, I'm going to just add a dot there too, just to be on the safe side. I don't want to be too close to my swinging legs. Okay, so now I can take off all of that release paper. Okay, press the little circle in place, and now I'm going to take it off of these because I'm going to go ahead and put it on my background. Take that back. Before I do that, what I think I'm going to do, just because I've already held it up there and I think this looks really cool, I'm going to center this on the back on a black card base, and I'm going to put it up with a little bit of foam tape. Now this isn't going to be as this is some thin foam tape, so it's not going to be as dimensional as, say, if I did some of the foam dots or foam squares. This stuff is only about 1/8 of an inch thick, so that is going to work really nice to just give us a little bit of dimension and have this panel pop up on the back of our, on the front of our card. So I'm just going to center that on my black card base. Okay, and now I can add my little ghosty. And his little legs swing freely. I love that. That is just too cute. I think what I'm going to also do is add a couple of pieces of candy on here, plus that sentiment. And I think I want to have it kind of offset. I don't want to actually make sure that it's straight because it would be almost impossible. Especially with all those little dots there. So we've got hey, and then I'll put boo on the other side. I'm just adding some glue to the back of each of the letters, dipping it into some adhesive on the back of my hand. That way I can cover all of those little lines, because these are so thin and fine. There we go. That isn't very straight, but I think that this turned out super cute. So that is our first card. And now for this one, I decided to do something a little bit different. I want to do something with one of these little houses. Actually, I want to do something with two of the houses. First off, I'm going to layer two of them up and have it just slightly offset so it looks like you can see down into the hallways a little bit. So that's the first step. So let me go ahead and get that part done. So that's going to be our focal image on this card. And I don't want it to be lined up exactly. I want it to be a little bit offset. As I mentioned, I want it to look like you're looking down into the hallway. Like there's a little bit of dimension there. Okay. So that actually may work better. Oh yes, perfect. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put the moon down. And that is going to be right in the center there. Right where the center of our hypnotic background is, and then I'll have my house a little bit off to the side. Okay, so I think this will be about right. That looks pretty good. And then I've got a piece of cardstock here that is just trimmed off of a piece of lightweight cardstock. Just a little extra piece that is wider than what we've got, and I kind of just cut a little hill. I'm going to go ahead and adhere that one down too. do think I need a little bit extra down here underneath though. So I need to put some cardstock down here so that is all nice and even. And then this is going to go on top. Okay, so now I can trim off that. And whenever I'm doing a big long trim like that, I like to use my bigger scissors. It just seems to do a better job and keeps everything straighter because of the long bits there. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now I need to adhere this last bit down right along this edge here. There we go. And I can trim that off as well. Oh, I am loving it. Now that is pretty cool looking. Okay, so I cut a piece of orange cardstock down to 5 by 3 3/4, I believe. I believe that's the distance. Yep, 3 3/4. And that's going to give me about 1/8 of an inch mat all the way around my castle here, or haunted house here. And I think I'm going to pop that up on some foam as well. And I'm going to add a little bit of art glitter glue to the adhesive just to give me a little bit of wiggle room so I can position this perfectly on my card base. Okay, so that looks about right, and I am loving the way that turned out. That looks so cool, but it does need a little bit more, so you know what? I am going to grab out some little bats and maybe a ghost or two. So let's grab out some of those. Because with that kind of foil, you really don't need any sequins and stuff. I mean, you can always add, sequins to anything, absolutely. But thinking that the foil it's so pretty, I don't really need a whole lot extra, right? So let's add a couple of clouds up here. And I just cut all of this out of some of the scraps that were in my scrap bin. And then let's have a couple of ghosts kind of hanging out, right? And then I'm going to add some bats to this as well. Okay, and that is going to finish up this card. Now for both of these cards, I am going to be putting a piece of white cardstock on the inside, some lightweight cardstock, so that there's a place to write in them, because you can't really write on the black unless you're using, of course, one of those glittery, bright color fluorescent gel pens, and I don't really have any of those that really work well. So that's going to finish up this video. Now I'm only showing the 2 cards that I made today, plus my little mummy card that I made a couple of days ago on that live stream. So if you want to see me assemble this one and make that gorgeous background, be sure to check out that one. These little dancing guys are so super easy to put together, and you're gonna absolutely love them. I just noticed that one of my candies is gone, so I've got to do that. So if you'd like to see some more videos where I am putting together some cards using some wonderful Spellbinders products, be sure to check out this playlist over here. You guys have a wonderful day, and remember, if I can make it, you can too. Have a great day.